the digital afterlife of grief. I am Ginger Lou, and I have some AI, generative AI, and Hollywood and art news that's been doing the rounds the last few weeks. A lot of it's been ongoing stuff, legislation that protects Hollywood creatives, artists, and the deceased. It's an ongoing battle as industries across states and countries try and come to an agreement with government agencies. Scarlett Johannson highlighted the need for LA legislation to outlaw AI deepfakes when last month OpenAI released a chatbot that sounded a lot like Johannson. The actress revealed that she was only initially approached by OpenAI as the real voice behind the chatbot, but had turned down the gig. Over the last year, actors have expressed concerns about their likeness being replaced by AI, and this comes 6 months after actors agreed to end strikes for better pay and to safeguard against the use of AI. See, it's a told you so. We knew it would happen. You know, all creatives have said, from artists, authors, writers, actors, musicians, we have all said that this is going to cause us problems. And here we go on the biggest stage with a Hollywood A-list, and the cheek of it. The cheek of, oh well, she didn't want to do it, so let's copy her, allegedly. So the promo that went out for it, that was quickly taken out of action, specifically, I guess, because Scarlett Johannson was threatening a lawsuit. But come on, guys. We knew this was going to happen. We knew that AI was going to put actors, creatives, writers, artists, illustrators, filmmakers out of business. And I mean, you don't even hide the fact that you're doing it. It's brazen, isn't it? One of the AI industry's leading trade groups, the BSA Software Alliance, is urging Congress to pass legislation to protect artist likeness and copyrights and prevention the misuse of digital replicas. SAG-AFTRA has supported the new No Fakes Act, which makes it illegal to produce digital replicas without consent. Congress has considered several options but has yet to agree on a definitive AI regulations. There's been more movement at the state level, such as the Tennessee adopted law, the Elvis Act, that makes it illegal to use AI to clone a person's voice without prior approval. In New York State, the Digital Replica Contracts Act was passed and would protect actors' likeness and voice from digital replication without consent. So that's been done in New York. Obviously this needs to be something federal. And then, of course, each country, EU, worldwide, something needs to be done because it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how are people supposed to make a living? How are people supposed to make a living if you're just making up stuff, you know? Interestingly, though, I was reading a recent, I think this was in the LA Times, a recent poll. Of course, it's early days yet, things might change, but where viewers would say that when they found out something was created by AI, they didn't want to watch it. A film made by AI, they didn't want to watch it. Really depends on the film, isn't it, I guess? I mean, maybe if it was some kind of a cartoon or a video game, not to put down video game creators or anything. You know, that's something that's kind of artificial looking anyway. But, you know, people want human creativity, don't they? Again, it's a collaborative tool. I've said this from the beginning. AI is a collaborative tool. It is used, and should be used in conjunction with humans, what they are doing. It's not to replace what we're doing. In fact, you know, anybody who's used some Gen A applications will know, especially with writing, that it is a bit flowery. It repeats the same terms. Same kind of sentences. It is not brilliant for doing that. It's great for bringing up ideas and stuff, but So Apple, we've been waiting for Apple. Apple joins the AI party. Apple's come late to the AI industry with the launch of Apple Intelligence. The company unveiled a suite of new AI capabilities that will be part of its newest operating system. Hollywood is watching closely, specifically with concerns about Gen AI applications for writing scripts and creating videos. Apple's new partnership with OpenAI means that applications like ChatGPT will be integrated into the digital assistant Siri, where it will scrape from the internet. Yes, that's your content from the internet, folks. Other people's work and ideas. So there's actually recently, I don't know if anybody got a Facebook alert on their email last month or early this month, saying that, I think it was on Instagram too, well, Facebook owns Instagram, right? Meta, saying if you can opt out of having your content being scraped. Keep an eye out on that. I've actually lost the email, I don't know where it's gone, but keep an eye out on that, because, yeah, come on, don't use my photos to produce your own work, right? I mean, Jesus, all the years of education and experience, and then you just copy it. Oh well. Talk about copying without permission. Ansel Adams' estate attacks Adobe for copying photographers' work. The estate of legendary photographer Ansel Adams, remember the beautiful landscapes, spoke out against Adobe for selling AI-generated images that mimic the late photographer's work. On a social media post, the estate attached a screenshot of an image called Nature's Symphony Ansel Adams Style Landscape Photography, which was being sold. However, it's not the first time that Adams' estate has reached out to Adobe about these concerns, who say they have not had a response from Adobe since August 2023. Can you imagine that? Ansel Adams' estate has still not had an answer from Adobe about people copying his work. So what is a common person, the everyday person, got any hope of getting a hold of these big California tech companies? Adobe has since made assurances that users who violate copyright will be removed and have blocked that particular contributor in question. Well, it's probably because the journalists were wanting a response, and so that's why things like that happen. Obviously, if you've got a gripe, go to the newspapers, because then you more than likely get something resolved, for sure. So the digital afterlife industry haunting ethical concerns. So it's, these stuff that's going on in the world of art, in the world of entertainment, is also some concern for what is going on in real people's lives, with death, in fact. So the digital afterlife industry has always created ethical concerns about data privacy, permission and copyright. Recent University of Cambridge research by AI ethicists now highlighted what experts, such as myself, have expressed over the past year. Without a proper governance, the data that a living upload to death tech chatbot voice and avatar replicas could be used to haunt the living. AI platforms like Storyfile, Replica, Hereafter AI, Seance AI, and others use voice recordings, videos, and written consent to replicate audio, image, and text conversations of the deceased. Commercial death tech companies need revenue, and it's conceivable that ads could be created around the deceased person's content. These ethical concerns raise ongoing issues around data privacy, the rights of the dead, as well as the digitized dead, and the rights of the living, family, and the dead. I've written about this extensively and researched about this extensively, because it's not just the rights of the dead, it's also the rights of those of the living as well. It's kind of we're at a point of where platforms like Facebook were bringing up all these concerns with the amount of dead people that are on Facebook, and those that are left behind, their family not having access to the Facebook pages and or any of the content or anything like that. As it stands, the digital life industry is pretty much unregulated. Come on, it is. Some regulations limit the use of AI data used to train large language models. More concern has been generated around the use of grief tech, such as chatbots created to replicate the deceased, because they're more likely to be used in conjunction with groups that are providing therapy chatbots for good. California and New York have post-mortem publicity laws, but these affect celebrities rather than the general public. Data collection and protection practices vary by company in the absence of federal regulation. Currently, 18 states have enacted consumer data privacy laws, but more needs to be done, for sure. I mean, it's a new industry. Things keep changing all the time. But the thing is, I've been saying it's a new industry and things are changing all the time for the last 2 years. And come on, get a grip. Why aren't things being done? It's taking really slow. Pretty much, I guess, off Gen AI is about Hollywood fights for attention with the streamers. Hollywood, has got a lot to compete with since, COVID, lockdowns and everything went streaming. Industry experts, at the time were talking about it's the end of Hollywood. And then, of course, AI has raised its ugly head to also threaten Hollywood industry with jobs and stuff like that. But everybody thought that, the big blockbusters, the summer blockbusters, everybody would be screaming to get out to the cinema, which they did last year with Barbie and Oppenheimer. But can you think of any other film that did that? Industry experts warn that Hollywood is in trouble with more job losses expected. Hopes of returning to a pre-epidemic, pre-strike and pre-streaming wars film market have been dashed since several cinema blockbusters have seen little returns. The big one that's been in all the entertainment trades is Mad Max Furiosa. Received rave reviews from critics and at festivals like Cannes, but that didn't translate to the film going public. From a budget of $168 million, the box office return was $25.6 million. Geez, in its opening weekend. Worse still, it was the worst Memorial Day performance in 29 years, folks. Hollywood wants theatrical film cash cow may end as it competes with numerous streaming platforms for viewer attention. Will Hollywood ever be able to drag our asses off the couch and back into the cinema? Well, it's true. I mean, even cinephiles like myself are going, yes, you've got to go to the cinema, etc., etc. But yeah, who doesn't love staying at home watching a film as well? And it has to be a good film too. I mean, gosh, I've seen some nostalgic film pages from the 80s and the 90s. Showed all these amazing blockbusters on at the same time over the summer. I mean, these are really big films, all of them. Everybody, knows who they are. Everybody's seen them. What do we have now? We have the odd one, one or two perhaps, if we're lucky. There's just not that much out there. And all the streaming stuff is very much, like the TV of its day. So it doesn't have that feel of a big blockbuster, does it? You really want to watch a big blockbuster. The streaming platforms don't really have it. It's more like a made-for-TV thing. Nothing wrong with this. I love watching series as well, documentaries and stuff like that. But the big blockbuster that everyone enjoys for a bit of escapism, loads of money that's been spent on the film. There's hardly any of that stuff going on anymore, which is sad, but, we'll see what happens. So I've been writing again about the digital afterlife and the death tech industry, the digital afterlife and the post-human, because it's been in the news, all over the news. I was interviewed recently for an Associated Press article, which I actually didn't appear in, but okay, I was consulted. But and I was talking about the digital afterlife, the concept of digital afterlife, the digital extension of life after physical death challenges the notion that death is final. The digital afterlife is not denying that the dead dead, but that they are still part of our lives. AI expands the possibilities of commemorating the deceased and managing the grief of those left behind, complementing or replacing formal structures of faith and belief systems. Death is integrated into online networks and mobile communication machines. The digital afterlife creates everlasting memorials in the post-mortem context of mixed religious and secular beliefs. So, it's digital afterlife means that, a lot of things for different people. I mean, the term has been used, quite a lot in the last few years by researchers, universities, and also, writers as well, like myself, and of course the tech industry, and the sci-fi film creators as well, about the digital afterlife. And, maybe it is just all a bit of buzzwords, and, maybe in 10 years' time we'll look back at this period and think, oh, weren't they a bit silly? But we shall see. Anyway, that's it for this week for the news roundup. I am Ginger Lou. I will talk to you